Thank you for tuning in at the truth about gang stalking, and this video is how to tell if you're really being gang stalked. The first way to tell is if you're hearing voices, and like I said, these voices didn't start talking to me until I was about 35 years old, and it's something I could tell. That I was a social worker for many years, minored in psychology in college, so I knew a lot about being a paranoid schizophrenic and schizophrenia. And once I started hearing the voices, these were very distinct voices, and I could tell instantly this was not a delusion, this was not some type of mental illness, this was an actual event that was occurring. These guys use ultrasound and microwaves to send their voices from miles away or wherever they're located. And if you look up ultrasound, as all of you should if you think you're being gang stalked, it's very easy to specifically target one person, even in a group of thousands of people. They used to call it an audio spotlight, and you can basically shine it on whatever you want, and it will produce a sound. It will carry any voices, music, any sounds they want to travel. So that's one of the main things, but I could tell these were different voices from different people, and it was not a delusion. But one of the biggest things is, another big thing is skull fractures. I'm feeling skull fractures all along. These are small skull fractures and indentations all along the hairline of my skull, and they go back about halfway, and then there's other skull fractures that go around the base of my skull. And it's because these guys have worked for years and years and years to thin my bones out, and especially my skull, so they can get a better reception and are more easily to control your thoughts. So they get a better reception. And one of the other things, I have not felt my heart beating in 20 years. And I used to be able to feel it beat every beat. I haven't felt that in 20 years, and that's because I have a feeling from what I feel on my body is they're constricting my lungs around my heart and arteries emanating from my heart to keep it constricted to number one, to keep me calm so I'm not freaking out all day, or I would just be taken to a psychiatric hospital and locked down in restraints. And that's no fun for these guys, because these guys like to see you in pain. They like to see you lose everything. These are the weakest-minded, most deviously mean people you could ever dream of. It's also to control your arteries so blood is not getting to specific places that are being changed, or you would just be in too much pain. And plus the inflammation is kept under control, so that you don't die from that. And it's almost like, yeah, they're sedating me and keeping me calm through a number of different ways, and that's also brain manipulation, and through using the biorhythms of your brain and changing the biorhythms. But you can often, I feel my muscles shrinking. You can just feel them getting smaller, and that's because it feels like electricity is going through your body, and then it's shrinking. It's almost like it's being turned. And you've made no movements. You're just laying on your bed, and you're feeling all these different spots twisting and turning and pulling. It's done through electricity and magnetism. And they can do this microwave ablation. It's it's a newer technology, but it's used to destroy tissues, and that's exactly what these guys are doing by doctors. These guys are by no means doctors. These are the most amateur type of medical people that could ever live. They have no idea what they're doing. All they're doing is trying to bring you into a downward spiral of death by suicide, or they will murder you, is exactly what they've told me, in the worst way possible. Also, I can feel my penis being pushed and pulled and flopping around even when I'm driving, and I am not doing that at all. It's not because I have an erection. You can just feel it's like loose skin that somebody's tapping or flopping around. And I have no idea why they do that. I have a feeling that's where one of the areas where electricity enters your body. It's going to be done through the feet and the groin, so they can get it to wherever in your body they want to change or manipulate. And that's another way to tell, because these are not erections. This is just my flaccid penis just being flopped around for no reason at all. It never used to do that before they started talking to me. But also, these guys rape their victims repeatedly. Like I said, there's been instances where I was a child and blacked out, and but even as an adult, I've woke up with a full erection in the middle of the night, and it's obviously that I had semen on me, and I had an orgasm that I didn't even feel. But as soon as I wake up, these guys start talking to you again and start talking mean to you. So you know that they just did it, and these guys are proud of that they're able to wirelessly rape people, and they brag about raping women and children. So these guys are just the scum of the earth. Also, another way you can tell is if your sense of smell is gone. I can barely smell anything, even cooking food or fires. People burning leaves, I can almost never smell that at all. Same thing with tasting my food. Sometimes I'll taste just the first bite of a good meal with a lot of spices in it, and then I won't taste another thing at all. So these guys are testing to make sure your senses are still there, but then they take it away just to be assholes and to manipulate you further. Also, another way to tell is if you're having constant break-ins and thefts of your property, which includes lamplighting, which is when they take objects from different places and put them in different places to make you think you're going crazy. That they do that. This is one of these guys use Stasi tactics to do this, and that's in the Stasi handbook on how to make people think they're going crazy when they're really not crazy at all. And they also have the ability to get me to speak out loud about stupid thoughts I have and just the dumbest shit. And they get me to speak out loud. It's like I don't have any attention span or ability to concentrate at all. They have taken it completely and totally. And this is one of the reasons they speak to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Because they don't want you to concentrate on anything, because there's a potential for them getting caught and prosecuted. If you're able to actually rationalize and talk to other people and form relationships, which they don't want at all, these guys want to isolate and destroy you completely. But another thing, they have obviously destroyed and are constantly manipulating my central nervous system. I can often put my hand on my neck in several different areas and feel a throbbing sensation, like somebody's yanking on it, and that's from oscillation caused by their microwaves. You can feel it plain as day. There is no reason for any of your spine or neck to be moving at all. If you're sitting down or laying down, there should be no movement on your body at all unless you've made that movement yourself. But this is one of the ways too, like I said, they have destroyed or are highly manipulating my brain through microwaves, and have probably destroyed my central nervous system, because there's some days I'm so anxious and stressed out that I've taken Xanax and Valium and muscle relaxers, and no matter how much I take, I don't feel them even just a little bit. I've taken up to 4 milligrams of Xanax at one time and didn't feel it at all. Most people can feel a quarter of a milligram, 0.25 or 0.5 milligram Xanax, and be knocked out completely. I've taken 6 Ambien before, and most people take 1 or 2 and they're sleeping all night long. I've taken 6 and not been able to sleep at all because these guys play with your biorhythms and they can keep you awake for as long as possible. And this is one of the ways they use to stress you out. But you just got to look out for unexplained pains that there's no explanation for them at all, like in your knees, in your elbows, in your hands. I can see throbbing in the muscles in my hands right here. And there's no reason for that to be throbbing or going up and down if I'm not moving it. There's no reason at all. So that's another way to tell. Because these guys don't just talk to their victims. If they're talking to you, that means they're destroying your body, so you're going to die. These guys are murderers and pedophiles and need to be caught. And we'll talk about ways that they're to get that done in another video. But they've also hacked all of my electronic equipment and left cords behind in my house that I had. I did not own these cords. These are specific cords for using in between computers and other electronic equipment such as cell phones and tablets to hack them so they can be remotely monitored from another location. They've also destroyed several of my computers and put viruses on them. I had several evidence, so much evidence, and I've actually printed out copies of ways from my computer's security system. What's it called? It's system info, where you can look and see any security problems with your computer. And I just had page after page. There was multiple daily security system notices I should have been receiving that I was not. Plus my father had his computer hacked. My mother had her computer hacked. So these guys don't just hack you or just trying to destroy you. They're trying to destroy your whole family and everyone you know. These are the dumbest, scummiest motherfuckers you could ever know. You don't be nice to them at all. They don't deserve it. They don't deserve anybody's respect. I have no idea how they reproduce. Any of their spouses must just be financial gold diggers who are willing to see their spouses exploit and destroy people just so they get material things. These are just scum of the earth. And they need to be arrested and or murdered themselves because that's all they wish for their victims. An eye for an eye. But I want to thank you for tuning in, and I will also be posting some more videos. So thank you again, and I will talk to you soon.